Hi guys, this is Avinash Sharma, and in this session we will discuss the partial classes and partial methods in .NET C Sharp. What is a partial class? Partial class is like a divide and rule. Means suppose we have a very complicated task and that is written in a single files. So we can divide that task into multiple tasks and then we can distribute this file to multiple developers so that multiple developers can write their own methods in their own classes. To declare this class as a partial, the partial keyword can be used, but as you can see in the diagram, we have two classes, that is the partial class customer and second partial class customer. These are the two files, and these two files have their own methods, but when these files are compiled, the compiler will convert these two files, will merge these two files in a single physical file. So for the easy maintenance and for the easy development, we can use the partial classes. What are the advantages of the partial classes? As we discussed, for the easy maintenance and for the easy development, we can use the partial classes. When we work on the ASP.NET, then we have the two files, aspx.cs for writing the code, and for designing the controls, we have the aspx.design.cs. These are the two files, and these two files uses the common word, that is the partial. And when you compile the files, the compiler will convert these two files in a single file. Secondly, you can change or you can modify the automatically generated code without touching the source file. And you can divide the complicated task into multiple developers, and so that multiple developers can work on the multiple subtasks. Now, we check the partial classes with the practical. So as you can see in the demo, in the code we have the namespace, that is the partial demo, and a class. Name of this class is the partial employee, but we are not using the keyword partial in this class. And we have some private members, first name, last name, salary and gender. Then properties for the first name, last name, salary and gender. Then we have two public methods, display full name and display employee details. So this is a class, and in main method we create the instance of this class, then we assign the values to this property through the instance, say name, last name, salary, gender, and finally we call these two methods, display full name and display employee details. Now we check this program, we compile. So as you can see, we have the information, full name of the employee, then gender of the employee, male, and the salary of this employee. Now suppose in case if there is a like big file like this one, and we want like one developer should work on the properties and other developer should work on the public methods. So we can divide this one task into multiple tasks. How? Now suppose this is a very large file, and now we want to divide the task of this single file into multiple subtasks. So we can create the partial classes. How? Say first of all, public 10 partial keyword, then class, and make sure the name of the class is the same. Now say cut the methods and paste in this class, and we have an error in this class. This is the partial, but the name is the same, so we have to make sure this class is also partial. Now we have the two classes. In one class we have the public methods, and another class we have the public properties. Also we can observe this class automatically access the methods from this class. Now we can also observe the private members of the another class, this class can access this class because both classes are the same as a partial. So again, now we check the main methods. In main methods, we create the instance, we assign the value, and then we call the public methods from the another class. So what is happening in this case? In the main methods, the employee, partial employee, For the compiler, this is a single class. Now we run. So now we can check we have the same output. We have the two different classes, parsing classes, but the compiler treats these two files as a single file. So this is how we can create the partial class. Now, what is the partial methods? A partial class can have the partial methods, and a partial method cannot have the access modifier like the virtual, abstract, override. And a partial method must have the return type as a void. Now we check how to create the partial method and how to use the partial method. So first of all, we have a class that is the partial. So make sure the type of the class must be the partial. Now we declare a method, say partial. So as we discussed, the partial method cannot have the access modifier like the private, public or virtual. And the return type of the partial method must be the void. So void then demo. Partial method and semicolon. This is the termination and this is just a signature. No implementation. So if we try to compile this program, then we get no error, because the partial method does not require the implementation. Okay. Now, if we call this method, say in this method, display full name. Now, again we compile, so no error. So implementation is not required. Even the calling of the partial method does not require the implementation of the partial method. Okay. Now, we implement this method, say now. So now we have provided the implementation because the signature is already there, and now we are providing the body of this partial method. In this method, we have a line that is the demo partial method, and we are calling this method partial method in a public method that is the display full name. So first of all, this will call this method, then print this line, and finally this one. We check. Now you can see in the output demo partial method. Then we have other details. So this is how we can create partial method and we can use the partial method. So guys, this was all about the partial classes and partial method in .NET C#. Thanks for watching the video.